doing some things that are unlawful and illegal, and they definitely do not follow the Constitution. My job, or what I want to try to do with you guys, is get this whole county back to Constitution. Now, the Colorado grand jury has already checked all the elected officials and the sheriffs, and none of them have a lawful oath of office or bond. So they are all sitting in vacant offices. So what we need to do is lawfully and peacefully take the county back to a constitutional state. And how we do that to start with is we're going to bring down when we come next week, and I will be coming down, and another Superior Court judge, as well as the Colorado grand jury administrator, and we will also be bringing some U.S. marshals with us. And we will have forms for you guys to fill out, and once you file those with the county, then you're claiming your sovereign right again.
Yeah.
It's a little long to explain how the city council has basically tried to say there is no constitution that they have to follow, but there is a remedy for it that they have to follow. Once you fill out these observations and you file those with the county. So it's important to get as many people as possible at this meeting when I come down there next week, so that we have everyone in the county doing this. And once we've done that, then we can do one of two things. We can either go to the sheriff and the city council members and say, okay, we have a constitutional government here, and you guys have to swear an oath to the Constitution and follow that. If they do not do that, then we already have the proof that they are occupying vacant offices, which means basically they're committing a federal offense by impersonating a federal officer.
You gotta go and check the county
or the county officer or whatever, and they can be removed.
Alex Ansary here, coming to you with a very important podcast. It is January 13th, 2016. There's a new character that has emerged on the scene in Burns, Oregon, by the name of Bruce Doucette. And Bruce Doucette has been infiltrating local Facebook groups themed around the off-grid movement in Costilla County. And as I talked about on this channel, there was an attempted infiltration by a Rodger Marsh who claimed to be a U.S. Army Ranger. And he wanted to set up his own militia. There was a property rights issue here with people being kicked off their land, and the local county saying that residents are not up to code, septic, things of that nature. They're changing the land use code, and people are being booted off their land. So as soon as I and others got the story out about this taking place, Rodger Marsh showed up on the scene, making wild claims and claiming to be a trigger puller. He also claimed to have been down at the Bundy Ranch situation, which raised a lot of red flags that he was an agent provocateur or a federal agent from the get-go, immediately. And I had uploaded some videos on YouTube of some of the things that Rodger Marsh had said. And people were emailing me saying, this guy is acting like a Fed. This guy, Rodger Marsh, at a meeting in Fort Garland, claimed that he was in contact with a Superior Court judge by the name of Bruce Doucette, who he claimed had access to U.S. federal marshals that were going to intervene in Costilla County. And he was making the claim at that time that the county officials in Costilla were holding their seats illegally. Now, there has been some issues with Costilla County, with them booting people off their land. But these outsiders, and Bruce Doucette was not living in Costilla County. Bruce Doucette, according to the information on his Facebook page and his LinkedIn page, Bruce Doucette is in Denver, and he's not a real judge. I and others looked into Bruce Doucette. He's not a real judge. This continental U.S., it's all fraudulent. Now, there may be some truth to the whole common law argument. But what we do know is that sovereign citizen groups and liberty movements of all different types have been infiltrated by federal agencies. And we're noticing a pattern with some of the people that are involved in some of these high-profile situations, including the Burns, Oregon. People like Blaine Cooper, John Ritzmeyer, Ryan Payne, and many, many others with questionable backgrounds. And so Bruce Doucette is going to Burns, Oregon. And I'm looking at the Oregonian, the biggest publication in Oregon. This is the main newspaper. And it reads that a self-proclaimed U.S. Superior Court judge who has been involved in past property rights protests in other states arrived Tuesday in Burns with plans to convene an extralegal citizens grand jury that he said will review evidence that public officials may have committed crimes. Bruce Doucette, a 54-year-old owner of a computer design and repair shop in suburban Denver, told the Oregonian that he made the trip at the request of Harney County residents. He said that he met with the armed occupiers to hear their evidence, which he calls significant, that government officials have committed crimes, but he declined to say which officials or which crimes they discussed, and said a privately appointed, quote, grand jury of Harney County residents, not he as a self-appointed judge, would decide whether to charge anyone with a crime. He says the grand jury will convene in private and make its decisions in private. The role of a Superior Court judge is not glorified. All we do is write up what the local citizens decide. Going through the rest of the article. Okay, so what you don't know, if you're new to this Bruce Doucette character, is that when I was Googling him a couple months ago, there was very little information about Bruce Doucette, and only in a few blogs. And all these blogs were like reprinting this fraudulent document saying something to the effect of, I, Bruce Doucette, of the Superior Court judge, Continental Congress, etc., hereby. And so it's mixing a little bit of truth that's attracting some people that don't know this guy is a fraud, that don't know how to research the backgrounds of some of these people that are involved in these high-profile situations, that, of course, the media, local and national, uses to demonize freedom movement or sovereign groups. We could see here locally in the paper in Alamosa how a writer was attacked by reporting on Bruce Doucette and his quote-unquote grand jury investigation. The writer, Sylvia Lobato, wrote the article in a tongue-in-cheek nature, also highlighting how some of the stuff they wrote didn't make sense. And then she also continued to report on some of the specifics of real off-the-gridders that are actually living in Costilla County, many of them older women, many of them disabled, and also many veterans. Sylvia Lobato is the only local reporter to report on the specifics of people being booted off their land. And so that enraged those aspects of the local community that didn't want outsiders to migrate here and live off the grid, especially lower income outsiders. And I'm not going to get into all the stuff going on because I've already covered it. But I know what infiltration looks like. There's a peaceful way to resolve something, to report on something, and to bring people together to organize. Whether you see that as organizing politically or people contacting civil rights organizations, people could have done a lot more in Costilla County. But this Rodger guy came in, and Bruce Doucette, by the way, has claimed that he never knew Rodger before this. Rodger was interested in recruiting other trigger pullers, taking advantage of veterans with PTSD, which is a theme that we're seeing in Burns, Oregon, according to some observers and people that are close to the situation. There's a right way and a wrong way to go about doing something, or a revolution. And I've been looking at the Burns situation very closely, and the people in the inner circle, and things on the Blaine Cooper channel, and John Ritzheimer blowing up Qurans and seeing the insightful behavior. I don't think you're going to go to hell for blowing up a Quran, but I think that's insightful behavior, and I don't think that gives any legitimacy to any so-called patriot movement. Not when you have characters like that. And certainly for the people of Costilla County. Rodger Marsh was an infiltrator. Knowingly or unknowingly, paid or unpaid, who made the off-the-grid movement temporarily look bad. Even though he was only around for a few days to a few weeks and he wasn't even living off the grid, the very fact that he spoke and there was video evidence of people listening to him, of coming to his meeting. And that alarmed the local law enforcement. That also alarmed me. That some locals would be duped by a Rodger Marsh type with no evidence that he actually served as a U.S. Army Ranger. I'll never forget when he flipped out that phone. And in a stage interview with Bruce Doucette was put on speakerphone. I'll leave the link down below for those of you that need to see this video. And people were buying this. And I'm not blaming them. I mean, these people have been victimized, pushed off their land. And here comes this superhero to the rescue, G.I. Joe, Rodger Marsh, and the judge. Here comes the judge. I mean, it was the source of all kinds of jokes. And this guy, Bruce Doucette, even though people would yell at him and say, you're full of shit, he acted like, oh, wow, I'm not going to take it personal. I'm just going to keep posting my stuff. Yeah, because you're not there to take it personal, Bruce. You were there the whole time to keep posting fraudulent documents on all the Facebook groups that you were allowed into. I booted this guy out of my group, the San Luis Valley Freedom Movement. And that's there for off-the-gridders that end up migrating here to the San Luis Valley in general, or southern Colorado, or perhaps other parts of Colorado, even northern New Mexico. For people to network, people of like minds to find each other, not a place for people to fight, unlike the other Facebook group. But I've been watching this guy, Bruce, the last couple months, and he's been posting full time like, dude, don't you have a regular job? If you're so involved as a judge, why isn't there any evidence of you actually coming to anybody's aid at all? There's nothing. There's nothing but your Facebook activity, your reposting of these fraudulent documents that you're a Superior Court judge. Oh, yes. Then there's the whole issue of the self-appointed militia and the self-appointed U.S. Marshals and the appointed grand jury. And it sounds like it's all in the up and up. Oh, this is for the public. Yes, the public. And so this is a bombshell revelation. Bruce Doucette is in Burns, Oregon. I was already watching the situation in Burns, Oregon. And I was already watching Bruce Doucette. And I know I'm going to be the only person out there on YouTube making the connection with Bruce Doucette with Costilla County, trying to infiltrate here. And Bruce Doucette trying to infiltrate in Oregon. This also means that the issues of BLM corruption, private property rights, and more, these are real issues. And that's why they infiltrate. I could give Bruce the benefit of the doubt that he actually believes some of this nonsense. I'm not trying to be mean to people that believe in a flat earth, but I took a look at some of the stuff that was on his Facebook page. And a lot of delusions, and he could be in a spell to where he really thinks that he's doing good. But whether it be Bruce Doucette or a guy like Eamon Bundy, no matter how nice they seem and soft-spoken, it's always about their associations. With Bruce Doucette, it will always be Rodger Marsh. And I'll leave a link down below to the news report about his arrest. That's right, the guy had a couple warrants, want to come up to his own militia, and yet he's wanted for child neglect. He's wanted for theft. Some people have wondered whether he was conveniently removed from the picture once he was exposed after my confrontation with Rodger Marsh. When I called him out on the way that he was talking, basically to my neighbors, other people living off the grid, trying to get, them in a militant state of mind to see him as their leader. If Bruce Doucette was legitimate, he would have never been involved with Rodger Marsh. So Rodger Marsh was involved in the Bundy situation. And he has been spotted down in Bundy. Down in that situation at the Bundy Ranch. By Keith Jones, who was also a landowner in Costilla County. So there may be people out there listening who know who Rodger Marsh is. But there's no way Bruce Doucette can be legitimate when he's running around with characters just like Eamon Bundy isn't legitimate by surrounding himself with the people that he's invited into the inner circle. If you have information about Bruce Doucette, please leave it below in the comment section. My email will be in the description. Other video links relating to Rodger Marsh will be in the video description, as well as a link to the headline discussing Rodger Marsh's arrest. I think we really need to connect the dots here, because I believe these guys are working in some sort of a network to demonize the real patriot, liberty, constitutional movement. I'm Alex Ansary signing off for the 13th of January in the year 2016 from Southern Colorado.
I have 18 years of service in the United States Army. I'm an ex-Ranger. I am here to fight for your rights.
Ooh.
It's kind of what we do.
Ooh.
All right?
Beautiful.
We can't do it without you doing it. Okay?
We're here.
Now, nobody wants to see this place turned into a Bundy Ranch. Am I correct?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Now, so solutions need to be come to in order for this to happen. The solutions are not going to be reached unless the people stick together and stand up for what they believe in. Now, here's what I want to know from each and every person standing here is, do you believe in your constitutional right to do what you want with your own land?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. What we would like to do is stay on top of this situation, and we would like your help, each and every person here. We would like your help in remedying the solution to this problem. Now, sometimes those solutions come easy through negotiations. Sometimes they come a little rough. Everybody, I'm sure, knows about Bundy Ranch and the stuff that happened there. We need to try to avoid those type of situations, but at the same time, you've got to stand up for your constitutional rights.
Be prepared.
What are your constitutional rights? Does anybody know what your rights are?
Right to assembly, right to freedom of speech,
Right to assembly.
right to bear arms,
Right to bear arms.
right to
Right to
not have
freedom.
soldiers quartered in your home unless in time of war. There's many things.
A lot of people don't understand that code is not law. Okay?
Absolutely.
Code is code. Law is law. Two different things.
Then how did
It-
it
it-
get combined?
It is illegal for an officer of the law to enforce code on your property.
Oh,
Okay? And those are the issues that we're here, that's the reason I'm here, is to deal with. I have a personal involvement and a personal interest. I own 7 acres of land up here in the mountains. So everything that you're dealing with, I'm going to have to deal with. So it's in my best interest that I take care of you. So we're looking for your support. We're looking for your help. And if you guys are willing, or if you're willing and ready, Operation Patriot Rally Point is willing and ready, and we're going to step. But we're going to need each and every person's help in this. Okay? It's not something. Now, last night, I received a message, an urgent message, on Facebook from one of my ninjas, as we call ourselves, ninjas, because we work in the background. And I was advised to contact a United States Supreme Court judge who wanted to speak to me on this issue. Immediately, as soon as I got the message, I picked up the phone, introduced myself to him, he introduced himself to me, and we talked. He's up in Denver right now. Apparently, Costilla County has grown the attention of the U.S. Superior Court.
It's about damn time.
And he notified me that U.S. Marshals are going to be brought in on this.
Nice.
For some reason, I can't tell you why they are. I don't know the details of that.
Now we're under Kim Woods, who is the county judge who ruled over Martine's ruling and kicked us off and made us take down our house.
The judge has asked me to speak to you guys and see if we can organize a meeting with the judge and some assistant of his, and a couple U.S. Marshals, I think. I can't give you the full details because my mind's a little foggy. But he would like to organize a meeting with the citizens that's involved here. He requested Thursday or Friday. I don't know if that's possible for you all. I don't know where we can meet or have this meeting at. So I need help from you guys. I need suggestions here.
Community Center in Fort Garland.
Fort Garland Rec Center has a big conference area that's public.
Yeah, we pay for it, so we can use it.
And how does that work? How do you sign up?
I can go talk to them, or call Phil this afternoon and see if I can get it arranged.
Okay, I will give you my phone number.
On Thursdays, it's 9
We'll
to 9.
switch off numbers, and then you call me and let me know. I'll call him, let him know, and we'll get this going.
When the judge is available either or Thursday or Friday.
Thursday, 9 to 9.
I'm gonna let you all know right now.
Now, how are we going to find the information?
Right now, I'm gonna let you know.
Friday's 11 to 2, they're open there, and unless we get
But Thursdays,
privileges.
Thursday's 9 to 9, so that's open all day long.
especially those coming.
This is not going to be easy. Anytime you try to take on local government or federal government, anything like that, in any type of issues, it's not going to be easy.
Already hard.
You guys have to be ready for a hard fight. I mean, you've got to ruck up, balls up, get her done. I mean, that's how it rolls.
Yeah, but there's a problem here. A lot of these people are being kicked off of their property and they have nowhere to go.
Come to my
The winters
property.
here are extremely
Come to my property. I got 10 acres. I'm a 3%er. I'm a patriot. They will not run you off of my property without me being dead first.
That's the thing about it. We all got to stick together because eventually it's going to come down to the point where it's going to be the people who are at our doors. We got to help our neighbors out, so it's not going to be us next time.
And it will be like that. You know, it may be this guy today, but tomorrow it's you. Or before long it's you. And then it's all you. You know. First they came for this guy, but he wasn't my kind, and so I didn't care. And then later on, well, you're their kind now. You know. So there's tough decisions to be made.
One of the problems that we are trying to avoid is this right here. You know, the racism. I mean, they're so divided, and we don't want that. We want to all work together as
It's not a racist issue.
community and neighborhood.
It's not. We're diverse.
This is to Costilla County. We all live here.
Man, with all due respect, though, isn't that the way the United States kind of is as a whole right now? I mean, they're pumping the race issues
I'm Native
actually.
American.
I'm part Native American too, as well as Sioux.
The bigwigs are doing it to divide all of us against each other. That's the easiest way to get to it, is by division.
But they're trying to divide us like.
We use at Bunny Ranch, several different instances across the United States. We usually try to keep it instead of, when we went to Bundy Ranch, it wasn't about Bundy's cows and his little fight with the BLM. That wasn't our business. But what was our business is when you're putting up tape and telling people, that's your free speech zone. Negative. The United States of America out there, I walk out, that's my free speech zone. According to the Constitution of the United States, I'll speak what I want to say. Okay? Now, you can sit there and say, well, you may go to jail. Okay, so what? It's jail. What? You guys are going to be paying for me to lay up in that jail, watching TV and 3 squares a day. Oh, well, okay. I'll do it. 3-month vacation, 6-month vacation. I'm good with it. But why do I go to jail? For what? For standing up for my rights? I mean, if one person stands up for their rights, always remember this. They're not just standing up just for them. They're standing up for each and every one of you. So what we've got to do is we've got to organize this, all right? Now, the situation is this. I believe it was, well, my days get kind of confused in my head, but the night before that meeting, I was contacted by a judge. It was up in Denver. There were various articles on the internet, and I had posted one of them as far as your problem. There was a video attached to it and everything. And because of what I do, I got a message, you need to contact this judge right away, he wants to speak to you, blah, 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 blah. So I contacted him immediately as soon as I got the message. Well, it turns out this judge wants to come down and meet me. He wants all your stories. That was quote per him last night when I talked to him and told him what was going on. He wants to hear each and every one of your stories. We're going to set up a meeting with this judge, and he's also bringing some. Man, I'm not one of those legal persons, I mean, I know about the Constitution, and I know how this all happened and came to it because of my studying, But I'm not one of those legals that can come in. I prefer to leave that to them guys, I'm a trigger puller, I'm a door kicker. That's all I've ever been. That's all I'm ever going to be. So, all that legal issues and all that kind of stuff, I kind of leave that to the people who know, You don't go to a mechanic to represent you in a court of law. You go to a lawyer, You don't go to a baker to fix your shoes, So that's kind of what we're working with here. So this is the first meeting where we're going to try and get you guys together. As I said, the judge wants to meet you next week. We need to figure out, I'm going to be calling him here in a little bit. Right out there, I'll step off and make sure that he's got time out of his day on the day that we can get this room or what have you. And everybody show up on such and such time, and we'll get him down here. Supposedly, he said, I'm speaking verbatim, I can't quote him. He's bringing some U.S. marshals into this. They've got some problems here in Costilla County that apparently they're not liking. He's got a bunch of constitutional judges and prosecutors that's, I guess, tired of the crap that this country's pulling, and they're going to start with this county. That is his words, quote.
They're always going to pick on the smaller person. Whenever they see somebody by themselves, they consider it an easy target. So the fact about it is, we will exchange numbers, and it does not have to be just winter force. If there's somebody messing with you, we can get something together to where, you give us. We live local. We can call here, and we can come over your property.
Yeah.
I think I got a plan. If anybody bothers too much like that, then we print out the map of the area, mark each house on it with the number, and then one phone call, everybody call to other people, whoever is available, go to that. Brilliant
And the thing about it is I live with Yurick. This man isn't just speaking, out of his ass, excuse my language. We're serious. I don't even plan on living here in the state. I plan on moving. I'm here fighting for what I believe in because the fact of the matter is that whether it's here or whether it's another state, we have to stick together because of the fact that one day it's going to be us.
It's going to spread.
Doing some things that are unlawful and unlegal. And they definitely do not follow the Constitution. My job, or my, what I want to try to do with you guys is get this whole county back to Constitution. Now, the Colorado grand jury has already checked all the elected officials and the sheriffs, and none of them have a lawful oath of office or bond. So they are all sitting in vacant offices. So what we need to do is lawfully and peacefully take the county back to a constitutional state. And how we do that to start with is we're going to bring down when we come next week, and I will be coming down, and another Superior Court judge, as well as the Colorado grand jury administrator, and we will also be bringing some U.S. Marshals with us. And we will have forms for you guys to fill out. And once you file those with the county, then you're claiming your sovereign right again.
Yeah.
It's a little long to explain how the city council has basically tried to say there is no constitution that they have to follow, but there is a remedy for it that they have to follow. Once you fill out these observations and you file those with the county. So it's important to get as many people as possible at this meeting when I come down there next week, so that we have everyone in the county doing this. And once we've done that, then we can do one of two things. We can either go to the sheriff and the city council members and say, okay, we have a constitutional government here, and you guys have to swear an oath to the Constitution and follow that. If they do not do that, then we already have the proof that they are occupying vacant offices, which means basically they're committing a federal offense by impersonating a federal officer.
You gotta go and check the county,
or
this place and
county
see if
officer
they have
or
an
whatever,
available Thursday
and
or
they
Friday
can be
next week.
removed.
Your Honor, what is your name?
And my name is Bruce Doucette.
Doucette?
And Burton should have all of my information. If you guys want to verify that I am a lawfully seated judge, Arapahoe County has my filings, as well as the United States Secretary of State. I have actually faxed copies or texted copies of my oath of office and bond to him with the registration numbers on those. Please feel free to verify those.
Okay, Judge, if you'll hold on a second right now, we're checking with the
I'll
this
vouch
place
for 'em.
right here to see if they have availability of Thursday or Friday of next week.
We really need to make it Friday next week, not Thursday.
Friday next week?
I've got another court hearing that I've got to begin for somebody up in Boulder County to try to fix the thing there Thursday. So I can't be both in Boulder and there at the same time.
Is there any specific time frame that you need, or what?
No, I try to make it whatever is convenient for the people, but do remember that I have about a 3-hour travel each way. So, you make it too early in the day, and I've got to leave before the crack of dawn here with all of my people. If you can make it, even 5 o'clock in the afternoon, so everybody has a chance to get off of work and be there, I'm fine with that. If you make it too too late in the day, like 8 or 9 o'clock, then, you know, I've got another 3 hours to drive back up here afterwards. So,
Understood, sir. We'll handle it. We'll take care of it down here. I will email you or call you once this meeting's over and advise you to what time and everything else.
yeah, and please take, and while you have the meeting there, ask what questions people have, and email me a list of those, and you're free to share both my phone number and my email address with anyone down there.
Yes, sir.
We don't do anything in secret. It's all out in the open.
Understood,
Okay?
sir. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I know what the underlying cause is for all of it, because everybody's got their own stories. We all do, you know, but there's underlying cause to all our stories. We've got to get to the bottom line. We've got to fix this. We are Americans. We are the people.
Some of you that I just want to explain. We can't hear you.
And a lot of those came in with him.
That's all I know. The way I kind of see it, there's people that started, and it should be your call whether, you know, whatever security teams can help.
She doesn't speak for everybody. We all speak for ourselves. I agree with what she's doing.
Having someone like that speaking up. Well, maybe it's, I don't know, like the leader. I've already put my name on it.
Sir, I am leaving this meeting because you are intimidating. I'm going to let people know that's you. You don't have the right to glare at me. I've done more to bring light to the story to begin with before you even came here. You are getting up in my face, and you are trying to take over the song. You're trying to get me. You have no manners.
Shutting
Period.
the video.
You have no manners.
That's it.
Okay, do you understand?
Hey, look. I know all about you. I know your history. I know everything.
Oh, really? Yes, you and your government friends? You and your government friends.
Yeah, my government friends. Step off. I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy.
I'm not happy with your behavior.
I smell alcohol. Have you been drinking? Man, you messing with me.
Step off.
You're messing with me.
Step off.
Yeah, that's why. You know what? Quit walking towards me. Do you own this house? Don't force me out of this house. Step out.
I'm going to tell you what I've seen every time. I like you, Alex. Come here.
No, we're not. I'm leaving. I'm leaving.
Get out.
I've never had this shit
go. Because every single confrontation was started with you.
He came in and yelled and basically threatened me.
We have a
I came in, I'm supporting this. I hear what you're saying. But I'm going to stand up if someone is going to threaten.
All right,
Did you not?
Hear me out here, okay? I know these people really well, and I know you guys. You know.
Right. I came here to support. I've been raising attention to the issue. That's what I came here for.
I need to talk right now, okay? You guys can be yelling and screaming here on this property. They're not going to tolerate that shit. So unless we can...
That's all.
No, you guys don't need to see me again. Tyler, hey, I try and I put you out there, Tyler. You guys don't need to see me again.
Because you're threatening me.
I'm not talking to you, Ben. You know what? I'm leaving the county. You guys don't need my help anymore. All right, we'll see you later.
I can't. A lot of those people are going to get up and leave, and several did already.
I mean, a judge comes
and
down.
And they know who you are.
I know your history.
He's not a judge. He's a jackass. They want a Bundy Ranch. They want violence. They want people killed for publicity, and then they'll go on to the next issue and do that again.
Mm-hmm.
And then this screaming is trying to indoctrinate. I'm afraid to leave. I brought a bunch of people. I'm not sure I told them I'd take you back down to Encinitas and come right back. And I'll see.
Great, it's fine. You just drop us off right down there. I need to walk.
Okay, you got to walk it off?
Yeah, I got to walk it off because not only are the townspeople over there in San Luis wrong, but these people out here are trying to make a war out of this, and it's ridiculous.
Can you talk about, now that I'm filming you, what you saw in there? What happened?
When that man walked through the door telling me that I'm not going to film it, I'm not going to record it, and that they would take it away from me, I got news for him. He touches me, I'll break his arm. They're not, they talk about having their constitutional rights pulled from them, and then they have a meeting and tell me the exact same thing over there.
They tell me I have no rights on their land. I had no free speech rights on their land.
Yeah.
So he supposedly was bringing a judge. Did that person look like a judge of any kind?
No.
A friend of mine looked his name up on the internet, and he, according to what, under his name on the internet, when they looked him up, he is nothing. It's totally wrong what they're trying to do.
Yep.
You know? Thank you very much for the ride.
You're going to walk all the way back there? Or you're pretty
going
close?
all the way back to my house.
Oh, okay.
I said, I don't do well with intimidating behavior. People try to tell me what to do. It just makes me mad. And I walk the other way, and you get a lot farther if you stop and talk reason with me. But you walk in there, and I would not look at that man because of the way he was trying to get eye contact and intimidate everybody. I refused to look him in the eye.
Talk about that. So he was scanning the room.
Yeah, he was scanning the room and telling everybody, you will do this and you won't do that. And I'm going like, you know, I don't think I want to be here because this isn't why I came. I came to find out if somebody had solutions to the code issue problems of the town arbitrarily singling out and now as a group going against all off-gridders.
Do you notice something else as well? I did too. The getting people to say yes. They were kind of grunting back. He asked if they understood.
That's
like a drill sergeant.
I have a degree in psychology. I'm not a psychologist or anything, but that's psychological, especially in sales. It doesn't matter what question you ask. You get a yes answer back, and then you've got them all the way. You keep getting them to go yes, yes, yes.
Alex Answer here with a very special message. I had made a video earlier today saying that the Meet the Judge event was to take place today, and it did take place. And within minutes, I was out of there. And the reason I chose to leave was because I chose to not obey the commands of this would-be cult leader by the name of Rodger, who heads Operation Patriot Rally Point. I've already expressed my concern with where this outside group has come from, with wild claims of Supreme Court judges and U.S. Marshals coming to the rescue. What I witnessed was this guy order no cameras. I can understand that, but do it with respect. What he was really doing is conditioning the crowd to obey his orders, asking them if they understood. There will be no videotaping. Do you understand? And people were actually grunting in response. I could feel the energy of that room, and I could feel if there were a certain amount of people in that room that were either intimidated or were going along with his intimidation programming. And he was all about establishing himself as some sort of a leader. The guy that was the supposed judge, this self-appointed judge, he was somewhat unkempt. He did not look like someone you would think would be a judge. Penny started to talk right away about her issue. He immediately was saying, ma'am, 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 right outside, speak to the judge. There was something counterfeit about the whole thing. So the energy was tense. You can cut it with a knife. And people looking around. And I was very upset at the way that he was glaring at people. He was literally looking at people, dogging them, eyeballing them, including myself. There was a lot of anger in this dude, Rodger. A lot of anger at me coming from this dude, Rodger. So I got up and told him, you know, I've done a lot to raise awareness on the story. I don't need him to give me credit, but don't talk to me like that. We don't know you. We don't know you. He's telling me to step off. He says he's looked up my history. I say, what, you and your federal government friends? He's telling me to step off, back off. I tell him I smell the alcohol in his breath, and it was disgusting. Then a few other people try to talk to me like what I'm doing is wrong. Other people that are somewhat okay with his behavior. So I'm going to be back with more. I think it's unfortunate that people like Devin and San Luis think that we are a white supremacist organization or that I'm trying to help them. I'm not trying to help anything that Rodger's up to. I don't know if Rodger is even his real name.
The movement, bro. He came in and did exactly what they would do, and he squashed it. He scared a bunch of people off of actually standing up for their rights in a very non-violent, very peaceful way, and turned it into something that, yes, you have to educate yourself about it, but the way we go about applying it is like, we gotta, for really, really, really real, choose our battles. This was one of them, but because of that motherfucker, like, they scared, plenty of people just walked out of that meeting out of the sheer audacity for this man to come in and, do you understand me? And fucking, you will not be recording up in here. Like, who are you? You're not our dad, and you're doing the same thing the county's doing. If you're trying to come in here and do that, that's not what we're about. You don't come talking to a bunch of people about sovereignty by barking orders at them.
There are security teams in place.
Like, no, we won't be coming here anymore.
Okay.
No.
When I was sitting there, I was thinking, I like, you know, knew everyone who was concealed carrying. I could see, you know, I was checking them all out. Be like, there's so many people concealed carrying. If I ever go back to a meeting like this, I'm going to concealed carry a whole lot better than them, because that is scary as shit. Being surrounded in a room by a whole bunch of people, many of whom, like, a lot of them are really good people, but there are some who are obviously unstable.
And armed.
And armed.
And the cold part is, we have to organize. I mean, I'm like, of course we have to organize. Stop yelling. Yeah. I know it gets kind of loud in the room, but what you're doing is like, we're not in boot camp. This is not going to be boot camp. We are in, I wouldn't even say school. We are in a university, and that's the University of Truth. And we're going to go ahead and go through our, just like we know we should have been able to do with regular school, we're going to go on our own course. This is not going to be one of those situations where you try to give me you can give me the Sovereignty for Dummies handbook if you want, but don't sit here and try to militarize me, because we don't need to be near that at the present moment, because we still need to be showing the world exactly how bad they are. We need to show Neil getting arrested for sitting on a windowsill while nobody else gets arrested for doing all kinds of other shit.
Yeah.
We need to show them saying that we can't do this and that on our own land. They're hanging them their own selves. This is the only way that people are going to start to see just how fraudulent these motherfuckers' claim of authority is, because they're just going to keep making shit up. They're psychopaths.
If we make a color-coded map with a number designation every time the police show up, or the code enforcement shows up at someone's property, 24 people converge on that property to heckle the fuck out of the police, what are the police going to start doing? Rolling out in tanks. They're going to roll out in whatever they can. They're going to get that ballot measure passed where they have 40mm grenade launchers, or the budget passed, I mean.
Exactly.
And then they're going to have, this is not what we want. I'm not here to increase tension. I'm here to help people. I'm here to just help people and be a good guy. That's why I moved out here.
Make lasting change in people's lives every day. And this is going to be able to, we're on the path to doing that with this. Because we were talking about getting workshops together where people can get informed. We were talking about meeting up and in public meetings that we are posting. Hey, come along on down. We're going to be studying what a person is today from Black's Law Dictionary. We're going to study what
build up a library of all of those books that we need.
How truth is defined in Black's Law Dictionary, how in the dictionaries that they use, and the dictionary that Black's Law Dictionary used. And we're going to we're going to reveal truth, and that's how you beat the lie. But we're not gonna win if we just keep doing this fight thing every time. We don't. It's fight or flight. And now this dumb motherfucker that got us in a flight situation, where it's like, damn, we were gonna fight in our own way, and we were gonna probably win, but now because of whoever the fuck you are, which we still haven't verified, most people who aren't rooted here are talking about flight, and it's all your fault, Rodger. So you did a good job if you're an agent of the establishment. I'm not saying you are, because that's one of the most insulting things that I can tell a person to me. But I don't know if you really are, but you're suspect, your tactics are suspect, and in the light of the type of people you're dealing with, you're not dealing with a bunch of 30-year-old single guys with nothing to lose. You're dealing with a bunch of people who have roots from wherever, and they have lives that they want to lead, and they do have, they have something to lose. And I'm not saying that we should trade any amount of security, any amount of our liberty for security. But what I am saying is that everybody, what we've talked about in these meetings, has to assess their own level of threat and risk that they're willing to accept onto their person and into their environment. And you cannot fault another person for not accepting the same amount of risk that you are willing to accept, and then call yourself a person who believes in freedom. So, yeah, I find it insulting that certain people would hand themselves over to the state. I find it insulting that anyone would. But that's not my business to judge that person and say they're a bad person because of it.
He's so for freedom. He's so for individual freedom. But you know how many times... Oh, well, okay, you get with Chloe and she'll give you this information. Get with... Chloe can post this online. Why are you... She hasn't said a thing. Why are you dictating that you're voluntolding her? You're going, oh, Chloe's my go-to person. You didn't talk to her beforehand. It's... You are taking away another person's freedom. You don't realize that.
You're an art.
What exactly happened there? When there was some sort of interaction with Chloe and dialogue about posting.
They called her, and it was really insulting to me because
repeatedly as he was talking. Let me take it. Repeatedly as he was talking, he'd be handing out papers and be like, you know, the judge hands out these papers, and the Colorado Grand Jury Administrator or whatever, they hand out papers of information. He's like, okay, we've only got 11 copies of this, but anything, if you need any more, like, here, Chloe, take this and post this up online. It's like, and
in that exact form.
Here, Chloe, get everyone's contact information. Like, Chloe will get all your contact information and post it online, and Chloe will organize this, and Chloe will organize that, and Chloe will do this. And she's like, I'm not your... And he... What was it he called her after I left?
He called her, and it made me sick. It made me... My skin
I left early. He was taking
He called her a sexcatary. A sexcatary. And what he was trying to say was a secretary who texts all this shit, because mostly things are done predominantly online. But what he said, and he said it 3 times to clarify, sextatary. And I was just like, ugh, that's just an ugly, nasty word. And I don't objectify women like that. I even told Chloe, like, a lot of times a girl will smile at me, I don't see that as an invitation to run up, because I'm not trying to control her day. Just because I think she's cute doesn't mean I have some kind of, I don't have the audacity to just make myself a part of this person's life.
Assume that
I'm supposed to, that they want me to, just because they smile at, just because they're being friendly. You know what I'm saying? Just because they're pretty. So I a lot of times I don't talk to the pretty girl. Well, you know what? I don't fucking try to control people. And that's what Rodger came in there and fucking just nasty, like, ew. They even had to tell him about drinking. They're like, yeah, well, you know, if we're gonna be forming groups that rapid response team, nobody can be drinking. And it was kind of directed at him, like, ha ha ha.
Most people were not
like
enthused at all. Most people were just like, so wait, what? No, this is not
that type
not
of
right.
shit. Like, that's a meme for your ass.
Like,
right?
He kept saying, and us veterans have got to stick to, and he kept motioning to people, and I'm not saying shit. I'm just sitting there in the corner, like, mouth
Nobody's
closed.
agreeing with him.
And when he kept doing it, he kept motioning to other veterans, and this other guy who's sitting there, he's like, he hasn't motioned to him at all. He's like, he gets up and he starts to walk out, and Rodger stopped him as, I think that one of the other guys was talking. Rodger stopped. He was like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I don't want to be. I don't want to be a part of this group. I don't see this as being a whatever." He's like, "Come on, man. You got to come out. Don't you love the veterans? That you want to support us veterans?" He's like, I was in for 12 years. And he just walks out or something, says something like that, and just walks out. He's like, fuck this shit. And, you know, just
he's and this is the thing, it doesn't matter.
Goes out and gets in his truck and leaves. He's like, I don't feel comfortable.
It doesn't matter if he's an agent of any official office.
Or just a megalomaniac who is a sociopath that wants his own army. By studying his Facebook page, he appears to be homicidal. He appears to have a certain amount of bloodlust that for some reason feels that he needs to post about that publicly.
Yeah, he posted something about...
Those are things that can get someone thrown in jail, the things he's posting on his page.
Yeah, he posted something about how he, about going into a psychiatrist and wanting to kill and getting and telling the psychiatrist all that, getting the psychiatrist starts yelling, kill, kill, kill with him, and then a sergeant comes in and pins a medal on his chest and says, "You're our boy."
You should.
But the really funny thing is,
I was going to do a separate video. I downloaded his page.
You know what a dynamic?
Really funny thing about that is, he spelled sergeant wrong. Guy claims to have been in the army for 18 fucking years. He can't spell sergeant.
And he doesn't have any pictures of himself serving.
Check this out. But even if he was in the military, so that makes him not an agent, because an agent ain't gonna fuck up like that, especially on something so obvious. But the dynamic that I saw,
think that's his real name.
But the dynamic that I saw at work there, which was interesting, and I don't even think it was a bad thing, but people who resonated more with what Rodger was saying as far as the radicalization of it were people who were already being aggressed towards by the so-called de facto government, and those people have already expressed a higher level of risk acceptance. So it's almost like people who are willing to get down definitely want Rodger with them. And people who are ready to get down definitely want Rodger with them. But the majority of the people at that thing are ready to get down in a different way, a much more specific and critical way, which is just information, period. It's an information war. That's why we live in the information age.
What we know about the individuals involved. So the person that I had the brief confrontation with, that was Rodger, and his name is Rodger Marsh, and he is believed to be the founder of Operation Patriot Rally Point, and his name is spelled RODGERMARSH. There's different Operation Patriot Rally Point pages. There's a Texas page. There's an Arizona page. So this could just be Rodger and a few of his friends trying to get some patriots together. When you, however, look up the names of these supposed Supreme Court judges, I'll give you those now. One is Bruce Doucette. Doucette spelled D-O-U-C-E-T-T-E. The name will be down below in the description. There's a website, and that is scannedretina.com. It looks like it's a conspiracy site. It doesn't look like it is a credible site for information. There's a few people out there that are really concerned about Rodger's background and some of his associations. And so it's something that we're looking up. How illegitimate, how fake is this Bruce Doucette? When we look at his LinkedIn profile, it claims that he works for some sort of a tech company and that it's been in operation for many years. And so his LinkedIn page, as it actually is, does not appear to be all that legitimate, and there's no other information. And so we need to look at this seriously, without getting paranoid, but we need to look at all the leads. And so for those of you that are able to do background checks and find out information, we're looking at Rodger Marsh, RODGERMARSH. We're looking at Bruce Doucette, who appears to have a fake LinkedIn profile, who's claiming to be a Supreme Court judge. And, of course, we have some other names mentioned. A Stephen Curry and a Stephen Dean Byfield. I'll be back with more information.
Talk about your experience being pointed at aggressively by Rodger Marsh. What was that about? And your intentions going there to document Rodger Marsh at that infamous event that everybody now knows about.
Well, I had first met Rodger Marsh when he was down there in St. George, Utah. There was some trouble out there, but I I never went out there to see or photograph any of the trouble that was going on out in St. George at that time. Rodger Marsh used to come to the park, and he used to talk all of this stuff about how he was a member of the Patriots and all that, and apparently he wasn't. Some people kind of got a little offended that he was out there claiming to be a part of this group when he wasn't. I never let Rodger Marsh know that I had met him. I had heard him ranting and raving down there in the city park. Yes. I was already living in that area. It was a great place to take pictures. Giving me access to Zion, giving me access to a lot of the really nice red rock and desert scenery. And I was already out there prior to the Bundy thing taking off. But when it did take off, I didn't go out there because there was just a lot of guns and a lot of cops, and you couldn't even get through the roadblocks and such. And there was a lot of people that just were going out there just to spectate. So I stayed out of that area. However, there was a park in the middle of St. George, a little water park, and Rodger Marsh would show up down there and start talking all this stuff, handing out literature. When he had come out here, at first I didn't recognize who he was. The first time I ever saw him was when he showed up at the meeting and he was interviewing Neil Taylor. I actually thought he was from the press. And when I saw him the second time at the meeting, it might have just been coincidence, as I'm sure it was. I was just happened to be sitting in the front row in the couch there, and he had told you that you couldn't film. And well, at the time I thought it was the house owner that wanted no cameras and stuff, so I put my camera away and put my cell phone away. Later on in the meeting, Rodger Marsh, and he did make a good point. He said that the reason I don't want cell phones on and cameras on and this being recorded is because the police like to send inside informers in. And he looked right at me and he points his finger and says, and the cops like to send inside informers. And I was like, does he know about me and the sheriff having a little slight conversation? Well, it was worth it to hang around and listen to this guy, because the more he talked, if he'd have just talked a little bit and left, it would have been believable. But the longer he talked, the more holes began to pop up in the story.